Wow, wow, wow. What a day.
Unmute yourself, Michael.
David Collister, I woke up today in Orange County. When I was a kid in Kansas City, we dreamt about Orange County. We didn't have the Rolls Royces back there, Dave. We had the could hardly. It was the Rolls that could hardly go down the hill or up the hill.
Right. Exactly.
But Dave, in my 24 years of doing this incredible industry called network marketing, I don't think I've ever seen a time when it was more needed than now, when you got so many people forced to work from home, Dave. The pandemic has changed our world in a way we've never would ever imagine. And so many people that were naysayers of network marketing, although if you do the research, it's a $600 billion industry. It's a juggernaut. The state of California admitted if there wasn't for MLM, they'd probably go even more broke. You know how much taxes Mary Kay women pay? It's the most viable form of distribution in the world, Dave. But it's been taking a hit lately, Dave. You've got the Bitcoins, you've got the other noise coming at network marketing. But in a time like this, Dave, when people have no other alternative but to stay home and find a business, where else can you help a single mom with less than $1,000 investment, Dave? It's still the number one way, and it will thrive now. In fact, Dave, according to the U.S. numbers, home-based business is up 29% already first quarter. David, do you understand more than anything? You've been in corporate. Your team in Melaleuca went to 100,000, still in business. You understand being a VP of a company that reached almost $1 billion, what it takes to mindset. And today we want to find out what we need to do, Dave, because I never want to leave someone behind. I can always go to the top, usually do. But how about that new person that said, Mike always does it. He's got that gift. He has the swag. He knows the market. But how about me? How about that new person, Dave? Let's give them some insight so they can see how they can win in the most thriving time ever in network marketing with an iconic product. Talked to Ryan, the new VP, all weekend. One of the greatest days of my life was 2 days ago. He flew in and met me, spent the afternoon together. David, he said, I've been since 8 years old with my mom, who would take me to conventions. I saw my mom on stage. I grew up in network marketing. I loved it. He was a VP for another company with a huge salary and all the tools that go with it, the cars. And he said, when David Schmidt reached out to me looking for a VP of marketing and said, Ryan, I can't do it on my own. I'm a scientist. I need help. And he saw the passion and the desire and a guy that wasn't going to mess it up, Dave, and get 5 mattresses and Bentleys and ruin the company like you and I have seen. He said, that's not David. But he also doesn't know what networkers need. And that's what Ryan's bringing to the table. So it's an incredible weekend for me, Dave. I'm revitalized. I'm more excited than I ever have been. Come on, Dave, and just let the new person know what it would take for them to win maybe this time, Dave. The average person in this industry, my good friend, one of the greatest minds ever in this space, Mr. David Collister.
Thank you, Mike. It's always a blessing to talk with you, my friend. Yes, I've watched you rise to the top many times, Michael, and I've seen you take a lot of your friends with you. Really quite extraordinary. I don't know anybody else like you in this industry. There's probably a few, but I don't know them. That you get out and build it, you get after it, and you get it done. And Yeah, I've been in the industry now for 39 years. I was a janitor at a hospital at age 20 when I got involved in network marketing, and didn't know anything about entrepreneurialism, starting a business. The closest family member to me that owned a business, in fact, the only family member that owned a business that I know of was, other than farmers, was my Uncle Mike, my mother's uncle. He owned a gas station, and I'd go wash windows there back in the day when the gas station attendant used to wash the windshields for everybody. You pull up and get your gas, they fill it up for you, and they give you the gas. Most young people don't even know what that would look like. And then it started calling it self-serve, and you had to do your own. Well, that's kind of like network marketing. You know, you go from having a job where everything is provided for you, the structure, the products, the work schedule, who you report to, who are you accountable to, who's accountable to you. In a typical employment situation, it's kind of like that. And then all of a sudden the world changes, and you know, everybody's getting their own gas, you know, in the gas world. Well, in you know, 20, 30 years ago, Mike, when we were talking about working from home, people would look at you like, why would you want to do that? Like, go just go get a job somewhere. Why would you want to work for yourself? Why would you want to work from home? And they look at you kind of funny. And then the gig economy started. People were consulting from home and being a part of that gig economy. And now, because of COVID, most of us have been forced to either not work or work from home to some degree. And um, working from home presents a lot of challenges. I've worked from home pretty much my entire adult life. I have had offices at corporate headquarters at several network marketing companies, and they knew that I primarily worked from home. So they might see me once or twice a week at times, sometimes every day. But I liked working from home because of being able to be with my 4 kids when they were young and things like that. But I got to say, one of the things, Mike, that I think is hard for people who are accustomed to working for someone else, it's really hard to work from home and manage your own business. It's not that it's hard work as in you sweat a lot. It's hard work, and it's a lot of new skills. And we don't have the advantage when we work from home of being a part of a close-knit team. Now, in network marketing, we all have teams and we talk with each other frequently, but there's something about having a group goal. You know, your whole team has a certain goal at work and you have to get something done, or you have a certain number of products to produce, or whatever kind of job. There's just that in-person dynamic around that helps us kind of stay with our job even when we don't feel it. I've had plenty of jobs in my life where I wasn't working as an executive, and especially as a young man, I was an artist and a traveling minister. So I didn't always have money and work, and I'd have to get whatever kind of job I could, from, you know, being a construction worker to, like I said, a janitor 40 years ago at a hospital, pushing a mop in a hospital. And one of the challenges for people is what I learned is one of the challenges for people is how to organize their time with respect to their goals. Now, some of you know I've started for LifeWave, I started a couple of groups now for, it's called Agile Network Marketing. It's based upon some breakthroughs that the big tech companies discovered about how to get people to work together in a growing company. Those companies would grow so fast. I think I read last week that Google has Amazon has, I think, about 800,000 employees now. It's only 20 years old. That's quite remarkable. You think about 800,000. Wouldn't it be great if we just had 800,000 active distributors? They've got 800,000 employees. And that's a lot to manage. And they had to learn, when companies grew from nothing to something like that, something extraordinary, all the old rules about how you manage people begin to break down. And that's kind of interesting to me, because network marketing companies are by design companies that are designed to scale, right? They're designed to grow exponentially, grow super fast and double and triple every year. If most companies started doubling or tripling every year, they'd probably go out of business. You wouldn't think so, but that kind of growth puts a traditional business out of business because they can't hire people fast enough. The average employee at Facebook, for example, just because they pay so much to get good people, did you know that the median income of an employee at Facebook is $250,000? That's the median income. And they are just hiring people right and left. And for anything they could find, they were hiring all the people. Like they're aggressive. Silicon Valley was aggressive at hiring people. They just couldn't find enough people qualified. And so growth challenges people. And here we get people involved in network marketing. Mike, you called them the little guys. I consider myself one of the little guys. My parents were both retired factory workers. And I grew up in a blue collar town of Lansing, Michigan, where I am right now, actually, and visiting my sister. And one of the things that stood out to me with regard to network marketing was, I guess I'm moving around a little bit. How do you help people who are just getting started in this business? First of all, I'll just make it, I'm going to give you a list of things, right? So never assume or presume upon their time. Most people who join network marketing companies are already super busy. If they're not, they're probably not good people to recruit, quite honestly. You know the old saying, if you want something done, give it to someone who's busy. That's true. If you got, a broke brother and sister-in-law who's perpetually broke, and I've been that guy, so no judgment there. But if you have that kind of person and they have no money and they always seem to be in that place, struggling and don't like maybe to work, that's probably not the best person to recruit, because network marketing takes consistency of effort. It takes a work ethic. You've got to work with people. But so let's assume that you're hiring people that, when I was first brought into network marketing, one of the things, Mike, that my upline, I had some really incredible mentors in that company. It's actually the biggest network marketing company in the world. I had some really incredible mentors at age 20. And one of the first things they taught me is they said, David, you've got to recruit up. Does anybody know what that means? Raise your hand if you've heard the saying recruit up. Recruit up means people tend to recruit down. So let's say whatever you perceive your station in life, maybe you're middle class, you've got a home, you're struggling to pay your mortgage payment every month in this COVID world, and you've got 2 cars, or something like that at your place. People tend to recruit at their level or down, primarily down. They want to talk to people with whom they feel they have some super credibility. So to have that super credibility, they've got to go to somebody who's in a station in life, or maybe they don't own a house yet, a younger person. They feel comfortable talking down to people who haven't come as far as they've come in life, because they want to feel like there's, have confidence to talk to these people. And one of the things my mentor said is, David, you've got to recruit up. And it really is true. People who are already successful tend to be very successful in network marketing. I promise you, if you put 100 doctors, lawyers, and successful entrepreneurs in network marketing, and you put 100 college kids that maybe haven't had to work a whole lot yet other than at school, my guess is the group that's the business professionals, they're going to do extraordinarily well compared to the young people who don't have a lot of credibility, don't have a lot of work experience. They've got a lot of energy, but they might not have a lot of people trusting them yet. And so we're in a trust business. And so one of the things that's really important for a new person to realize is the number one thing you're asking from them is not the number two thing that you're asking from them. The second most important thing that you're asking from them is their time. And so we used to say in network marketing, it's going to be about 10 hours, maybe 20 hours a week. And nowadays, everybody's got a side hustle. Everybody's doing something on the side, it seems, something to make a living. Or you've got two members in the family working. And maybe the kids are working too to help themselves get through school or something. So one of the things with people, the kind of people that do well in network marketing are people who have responsibilities. They're already busy people. One of the last things, if you were to ask those people that you want to reach out to, what do they have a lot of? Time isn't going to be one of them. Most of them think they're already too busy. And so when you talk to them about network marketing, busy people like to get things done, right? So they say yes, they get involved in network marketing, and I've watched these very competent people quit very quickly. And it's really been kind of an anomaly to me. And I did a lot of work trying to figure out, why do these good people quit so easily? In network marketing, I'm not speaking to people who aren't network marketers. In network marketing, we have quite an atrocious attrition rate in network marketing. The industry itself, attrition, or it's called churn in business, or attrition. That means people quitting, customers quitting, distributors quitting. They just drop out and they become customers, or customers just stop ordering and don't do anything. We have a lot of that in network marketing. It's been around since the beginning of this industry, and it's always perplexed the executive teams of every company. And so I did a lot of research. I read every book I could read on organizational management and how do you get people to be helpful. And one of the things I learned for those of us in network marketing is we have to be very mindful and respectful of the very little amount of time that people have to do this business. And you figure, take a single mom who's got 3 kids, 2 of them are teenagers. My goodness, she's probably working 2 jobs, maybe getting support from her former partner, the father, maybe not. And whatever it is, even if that's the money's there, still this woman has got her hands full with homework and taking them to soccer practice and school and doctor's appointments and running them to their friends' houses and all that stuff. They're just swamped. So we've got to be mindful of their business. Never assume that they have the time to do this business. So with that one thing in mind, that's the second most important thing that we have to consider. The most important thing that we have to consider when we recruit somebody is their personal reputation. You see, the reason why a doctor or an attorney or a business professional has a much better chance of succeeding in network marketing is because those people have learned from a very early age, from the time they started going to school for those things, how important your Rolodex is, your contact list. Like, there's only two good reasons to go to a school like Harvard. One, the name means something in the marketplace when you go to get hired. But what most people don't consider is that most people wouldn't even consider that go to Harvard, wouldn't even consider that the most important thing they got from the school, the education. And then, hey, I've got Harvard on my resume. That's helpful. But where the ones that really do well in life, when they were at Harvard, they said, yeah, that's important. But the most important thing is, I want to get to know all of these people, because all of these people are going to be executives. All of them are going to be leaders in society. And they were networking. Most of the people who've done well in business, who went to an Ivy League school, they were able to succeed in business because of all the friends that they had who knew them and trusted them, who became successful later on in their life or came from successful families. Well, unless you're a business executive and names mean something, or unless you're a network marketer and you got to have a bigger lead list, we don't start thinking about that stuff until we join a network marketing company. Certainly, I never did. My parents didn't have a list of all their friends' names, like who does what. They just had their friends and they had their phone numbers, and that was it. You didn't go around looking for more of those names. You just, but business people do. So the most important thing that we ask for from network marketers is we ask them, just go talk to your friends about this. So let's say you sign up a surgeon, one of the best surgeons in the country, but he's really into alternative health too, right? And you say, well, Dr. Smith, now all you got to do is make a list of 100 people and start calling them. That doctor will look at you like you are out of your friggin' mind. Like, what are you talking about? Just call all my friends. No, I'm a friggin' surgeon. I can't go ahead and call all of those people and tell them that I'm now a network marketer. Not that they have anything against network marketing. It may have took them 30 years to build a reputation as a successful surgeon. They're certainly not going to mix it with network marketing. They're going to go about doing network marketing a little bit differently, aren't they? And they do. Um, so when you go to, let's talk about this single mom for a moment, or a single dad. When you go to them, assume that they don't have a lot of time. You have to assume that. You must assume that they do not have time to do this. You're going to have to help them find it. And if you don't, they'll quit because they'll get frustrated and feel like they just can't do it. The second thing is you're going to ask that single mom to just go talk to all of her friends about network marketing. And she is going to feel just like the doctor. Are you crazy? I depend on my circle of friendships. They're the ones that hold me together emotionally and spiritually. My teachers, my kids are my everything. And I'm not going to go talk to them and ruin my kids' relationship with their teacher unless I feel really confident in my products and what my ability to get them to succeed in this business. So we all want to protect our personal brand. That's every person. The more successful they are in life, the more likely they are to be protective of their brand. When I was a young man, I was probably 22. I was living with a rather famous person. His name was Andre Crouch. He was a pastor and an international gospel singer. Multiple, I think he's won like 6 Grammy Awards. And everybody, after they knew I lived with him and worked with him, everybody that knew me wanted to say, can you have Andre introduce me to Michael Jackson or Madonna or whoever? And because they knew he was friends with those people. And I'd say, no, I can't get you Michael Jackson's phone number. Are you crazy? If I started asking Andre for every person's phone number for a friend of mine, Andre would kick me out of the house and say, don't ever come back. Like, that's not how we do this. We respect our personal brands and our contacts. They're treasure to us. So everybody has that. When we start talking to people, so just know that when people they want to sell products, but they don't want to recruit, that's why. It's because they're not confident enough in themselves or maybe their products or their abilities in this business to talk effectively so that they don't jeopardize their relationships with their friends, just those friends that you want me to talk to. They want to be confident that we're not going to in some way ruin that relationship because their lives depend on it. I heard a study, I was reading a book this week called Lost Connections, really fascinating book about depression, which is something that I deal with and have since I was a kid. But one of the things that they talk about in there is the need for vital connections, two-way connections, where you feel like you're contributing to that person's life and that person, you feel like that person's contributing to your life. And 20 years ago when I was teaching this stuff, sociologists would say that the average person has 3 close friends, and they have between 4 and 6 people that they can go and talk to about just about anything. But 3 of them might be really close friends. Some might be family that they love, but maybe don't feel like they can open up to as much. And the more recent data is most people don't have one of those friends anymore, one really close friend. And that sounds a little odd to a lot of us, I know, because we grew up in a different era. But most people's relationships are a mile wide and an inch deep. They have 10,000 friends on Facebook or Twitter or something like that, but yet none of them really know each other, couldn't tell them the name of their kids or anything like that. They don't go and cry on their shoulder. And so we have a lot of relationships nowadays with social media, but we don't have a lot of depth with them. So one, be very careful of, about talking to them, about just talking to your friends. Just know people are going to guard that. Be very careful. When you presume on it, when you assume that that's not a big deal, then they feel like they can't trust you. So if you just show respect that, wow, now let's talk about talking to your friends about this. Treat that like with kid gloves, like you really want to be careful not to break the trust that you have with them. Because if you treat that like it's nothing, like when I was a young man, one of the jobs I had was a jewelry salesman. And, I would just hand over the ring to the prospective young couple looking to get their, wedding bands and stuff, and hand it over. the trainer said, no, 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 David, that's not how you hand somebody a ring. Here's how you hand somebody the ring. Very carefully, give it over to them very gently, like it's really important. Don't drop it. You don't have to say that. You just hand it to them like that, really like it's special. And so if you do that with people's lead lists and you show respect and you show like, man, we want to make sure that these people are still your friends when we're done talking to them, right? Yes. So let's do it this way. And it's the same method that you always use, but they don't know that, right? So they're afraid of losing their friends. They can't afford to lose not one more friend or one more family member. Kind of wonder why did they avoid me at the family reunion now? Well, because you were that network marketer that didn't care about their relationships. And you show up and they're like, everybody scatters, you know? We don't want to be that network marketer. We want to be the network marketer that brings life and joy and prosperity and health to people, right? So if you show that respect up front, people will begin to trust you more. The other thing is with their time. The second most important thing is to respect their time. It's better to say, I know you're super busy and probably don't have a ton of time to do this business, but let's find some time, right? Because what happens is they get all excited. They see the money, they see the time freedom, they hear the stories, they get excited about the products, right? They're all, wow, these products are going to sell themselves. Everybody's going to just beg me, beat down my door to get these products. That's what they're kind of thinking in their minds. This is just amazing. And then they start going to work and then they realize, you know, maybe most people have never managed anybody. Most people have never been a manager. They haven't had several people be responsible to several people other than their kids, right? Outside of the home. And at home, we have different rules. We can yell at our kids if we need to, or we probably shouldn't, but we can. Hey, go clean your room, right? And you can't yell at an employee like that. It doesn't work like that. You get in trouble these days for doing stuff like that. So when you ask someone to build a business and you get them started, be very careful to look at their time and say, where can you squeeze in some time? Because a lot of this isn't like an hour here or 2 hours here. It's not always like that. These training calls, especially if David Collister's talking, take longer than usual. But if you just show respect for their time and look for ways and help them manage that time. One of the things that I do with the Agile Network Marketing method that I teach is, and this is all based on modern social science, business culture, what has worked the best with literally millions of people, employees, data collected on them and how they work to find the best ways of managing people. The best way to manage people with respect to their goals is really simple. You have them make a big list of the number of people that they want to, you know, the kinds of, let's say they want to do, say, I'm going to do 25 phone calls this week. I'm going to just call friends of mine. I'm going to call 25 of them. Say, okay, write down 25 phone calls. I'm going to send out some new messages to people, just introducing them to the product concept. I'm going to send out a teaser, use the LifeWave app to get them some information. Okay, how many of those do you want to do this week? I want to do 10 of those or 25 or 50 of those. Okay, great. And then so you have them make a big list of all the things that they want to do at the beginning of the week. So on Monday, they have their big list of how many of these things that they want to do. And then you don't have them plan the whole week. I'm going to do 5 each day. That doesn't work. You'd think that it works. Some people can make that work. Most people cannot make that work. The best way to do it is every day when you wake up, just call them and say, okay, you remember you said you wanted to do 25 phone calls this week. How many will you do today before you go to bed? Great. Don't ask them to think about anything else other than today. Didn't Jesus say, you know, just think of today because tomorrow has enough evil, it'll take care of itself, you know, just focus on today. So that's using Jesus's model of managing yourself. Just think, get people to think, what can I do today, and make that list. So you take from that pile of things that they hope to accomplish by the end of the week, and each day just talk to them and say, how many messages would you like to send out today? Don't tell them how many. Don't make them feel bad. If it's 2, it's 2. If it's 1, it's 1. If it's none because they don't feel well today, or they're depressed or going through trouble or whatever else, say, great, I love you. I'm so glad you took my call. That's something that's keeping your business alive, right? Show respect for their time and show respect for their fears and their concerns, and then help them manage their life day by day. It's much easier to get people to succeed that way. And then you tell them, oh, I didn't do yesterday what I really wanted to do. Say, well, today's today. Yesterday was yesterday. You can't fix yesterday. We're not going to worry about yesterday. You're great, man. You did what you could do. No matter what they do, tell them they put in effort. That's great. And then today, what are you going to do, Sally? What are you going to do today? What can we do today? How can I help you today? And if you can show them just that model of learning to manage their goals day by day with kind of a big wish list at the beginning of the week of all the things they'd like to do, but with no days or times assigned, and then each day have them assign themselves some work. If you'll do that, you'll find more people feel that they can manage their time, because it takes people about 3 months in network marketing of really giving it effort to find out, where can I do this? You know, that single mom, she might, while the kids are playing their game or at practice, she might be sitting there sending out messages. She doesn't have to be away from the kids or away from her stuff. A lot of this can be done on the fly, right? So you work with them, let them know that there's time, because most people that will quit on you will quit because of those two things. One, they don't trust themselves. They don't think they're good enough at this business to represent it effectively in front of the people that they know and love and trust, and whose friendship and relationship they need. And the other thing is they don't feel like they have the time. If you can guard those two things and make yourself an ally and help them learn to build their daily activities slowly, and eventually people will adjust. They'll know, you can probably figure they might be able to squeeze in an hour a day. Most people. Now, some people will do a lot more. Super organized people, if their calendar's not already full, they can squeeze in more. But if you can help most people feel like doing a little bit is enough for today, they will get good at that. And eventually you'll see them be able to do more and more and more and more and more. And we do this thing called a power hour in my team. And we just started it a couple months ago. It's going really well. We have people work together in small groups of 5 to 6 people, 4 to 6 people. And they talk to each other on the phone every day. And they plan day by day what they're going to do that day. And then they show up and say what they did or didn't do every day. You know, just a little accountability to themselves. No bosses in the room. They always get woo-hoos every day. Woo, you did it. You did, or you showed up to the meeting. That's important, right? If they didn't do anything. But over time, they learn to manage their time. And then I insert this thing called a power hour, where they get on Zoom just like this. They have their videos on. They mute themselves, and then they just go to work on their phones or their computers, and they're not talking to each other at all. They're all sending out emails. They're all doing text messages. They're sending out doing follow-up, whatever it is they're doing. But the goal in that hour is to get as many of those daily tasks that they wanted to do, that they said, this is my ambitious goal for the day, for me, for my time, for my skills. This is what I'm going to do today. Great. See if you can get it done in an hour. And most of the time, they can get it done in an hour. So if you can get people to contribute an hour a day to your business, you're probably going to do really well. But you got to give them something to do with that time that's productive, and you've got to check in with them and support them. People need to feel like you're that new friend that's going to make a big difference in their life. If you had a friend that called you up and made you feel guilty for not doing enough every day, how long would that person be a good friend of yours? Probably not very long. So no matter what they accomplish, you cheer them just for going through it and wanting to do something that day. That's sometimes all that people can manage with their energy and their schedules and their life and the pressures that they're facing. And if you do that long enough with people, they just don't quit. There's not that attrition rate. They don't drop out before they develop the skills. Most of the time, they quit before they develop the skills, and it takes time to develop the skills. It takes time to learn to manage your time in network marketing, especially with recruiting, because you got a lot of follow-up. And then, for God's sake, what happens? All of a sudden, they've got a team. They've got 10 people they're accountable for. Bear in mind, most people have never managed anybody. That's a full-time job in their brains. Just managing a team of 10 is a big deal. They're not going to make a ton of money with 10 people, but it takes a lot of their time. So this time component, learning to help people manage their time day by day, is really essential, and it keeps people from quitting too soon. Most of the best people who have the best Rolodexes, the best contact list, the best people skills, the number one reason why they quit is because of time. They were not able to figure out how to work this business into their life enough time-wise so that they were giving it enough time to actually make it work. So be very respectful of people's time, treat it with kid gloves. Don't assume that they're too busy, assume they have no time. You're going to have to help them claw through their calendar to 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. You're going to help them find that time. If you'll do that, if you'll just respect people's time and respect their relationships and prove to them that you really do, which most of you would do anyway, you're going to find more people finding success because now they've got an ally. They don't want to be the only person in this meeting saying, I don't know how to manage my time. I set good goals. I love doing this business. I believe in the products, but I don't find the time, and then it's too late to call. And nobody wants to say they're that person in the room. I don't mind because I've got ADHD and stop worrying about whether people like that or not. I just tell people I don't manage my time well at all. I'm time challenged, administratively challenged, and but most people aren't happy to say that about themselves because in the business world that'll get you fired. So, but we have to respect that. It's probably true for most of the people that we talk to. And I think I'm done, Michael. I'll stick around for questions if you have time for that. If not, it's been a pleasure sharing with you all.
Well, it's true. It's the mindset, making them feel that not only are they cared for, they're appreciated. I think if I have one gift, it's kind of like how Crocodile Dundee said how an alligator eats something and he takes them under and rolls them around and tenderizes them for a while. When I go after even big players, Dave, I don't get them with one swoop. I love on them. I call them, how's the family? But in that talk, I'm letting them know how I'm doing in my world. See, we all have our own little world, Dave, inside this big world. Your world's your family, your sister, your friends, your business. That's your world. The neighbor has their own little world. We're all navigating our own little world inside this big world. How do we penetrate that little world that they're in? How do we get our emotions, our excitement? We know we have a great product. We know it's not a me too. We know we can make millions of dollars. But the first step begins with a hello, how you doing? Can I at least share with something that's helped me? So important. And no one's doing it better really than our good friend, Pastor White. Are you on, Bishop White?
Yes, sir. I'm here, Michael.
Sister, you have come on. You've been waiting, but you come on in this group. You sponsored 18 people already. And the way that you told me you're approaching your business last night, I was tired from flying all day. When Brother Lavelle was on, it just blew me away. So, Dave, you got to hear this story of Sister White, what she's doing to build her business through the Christian network. Go ahead, sister.
Thank you so very much, Michael, for asking me to speak. And first, let me just say thank you, David. I can share some of your background because I am an ordained elder. I've got lots of ministry in my, my mind, in my work, but I just love people. I love people so much that I'm willing to spend the time that it takes to just kind of help them. And so this networking business is so tremendous. By the way, I sing as well. So Andre was my favorite. My husband and I just, that was part of our love song when we got married in 74.
That's awesome.
I love it. But anyway, Michael, I just want to just say again, thank you so very much for allowing me to speak this morning. Real quick, I love my sponsors, that my presidential executives that are on this line, Lavelle and Majay, two of the most incredible people I have ever met. And relationship is so important. Timing is everything. And you've got to stick to your guns. If you've got something good, you got to always remember to share it. That's my mantra. I don't allow things and even the negativity to slow me down. In fact, I find another way to come back again. That's what I do in ministry. Everybody's not going to hear you initially. Everybody's not going to receive what you have to offer, but you've got to know it's good enough to go back again. And so that's what happened with Lavelle and Majay. They reached out to me for over a year by way of a text message. But I'm very active. I'm a people person, but I am an insurance agent. And so I ignored them. I ignored them. But Lavelle has the spirit of stick-to-itiveness like nobody I've ever met. So if everybody knows this is true, I want you to just raise your hand or say amen or nod, even if I can't see you. Timing is everything. There's always a set time. Okay, so never give up. And that's what happened. The set time was when my husband and I both, I'm embarking on the age of 70 in a couple of months. And I'm thinking to myself, what I'm feeling doesn't feel good. I'm an energized bunny and I like to go. I like to talk. I like to move. I sing and I tell you, I'll give it all I've got. I preach and I never leave. I leave it all on the court. So here I am feeling that there is just something that's got to be done. I don't want to load my body with synthetics that will, just destroy me eventually. And so we were praying together. My husband's a bishop. We pastored for a long time. We started in 1983. Well, listen, we realized by our walk with the Lord that it's important to have faith and know that God is a healer. But I love the way God does things. Your healing, your connections, everything is already pre-designed. So you don't just give up just because it's not coming the way you think it should. So what happened with this set time was when Lavelle reached out to me, we had that conversation. We just feel like we're getting old. This is not old, but really your body tells you differently. And so when not the text message, but a phone call, a set time, a call came through Lavelle. Thank you, Lavelle. Thank God that I finally had an ear to hear. I could hear it beyond my emotions. I could hear it because God answered me through that phone call. Lavelle told me about first he told me about you, Michael, and what had happened. I know you, Michael, because we were not close, but I knew of you because you influenced me even from a distance. By the way, never forget there's somebody in you that you don't even know. And that's what I know. So as you reach out and touch, you don't know how far that touch is going to go. And so Lavelle called me and he told me your testimony, Michael. He told me his and Majay's testimony. And immediately I knew it was the set time for me. I didn't have to have him send me a sample. I didn't have him call me 2 or 3 times. I made up my mind because I knew it. My spirit clicked. It's the set time. So I got that. I ordered my products immediately. I didn't even discuss it with my husband. 46 years married, we don't have to discuss, we know each other. Because see, if my husband didn't use it, I knew I needed it. So I got the product. The day that I got my product, I walked 2 miles with arthritis in my pelvis. That wasn't a good idea at all, but I felt better than I physically could do. Well, by the time I got home, thank God I went to the mailbox. There was my sleeve. I only bought one sleeve. And I got so excited because I'd already set my mind to this is going to be what will make a difference in my feel, in the way I feel. Sure enough, I put the patch on and within 30 minutes, I went from a 10 to a 2. Oh my God. Talk about wanting to find somebody to tell. I had already shared it with my sister. I said to her, when I get my patches, you come over, or if you get yours, because she bought as well, based upon me sharing. Listen, it's important to believe something and share it the way you believe it, no matter what. I called my sister. I said, I got my patches. Get over here. She's got this arthritic pain in her lower back. She got over. I patched her, and we patched together. When my sister left, she said, Helen, this is really working. She says, I'm able to move. And it was so bad for her. She could not even walk straight. And so she also said to me on the spot, do they have anything for anxiety? I said, I don't know, but I'll find out. Well, did you know that the X39
patching once, and she has not, because the doctor prescribed her with medication for anxiety. She has not had to take anxiety medication. My God, who wouldn't want to tell the story? So I get this product, I use it, my sister and I, my husband the next night, first night, you know, I'm already excitable. So he didn't really give me a lot of attention. But the next night, by the way, tell the story, because if they don't respond immediately, pain is going to have them call you. So anyway, my husband says, patch me, I'm feeling terrible. I said, oh, sure, patch my husband. The next morning he got up. I said, hon, how do you feel? He said, Helen, this thing works. My husband is so opposite of me. He barely talks as much as I do. But believe it or not, when he got up that morning, he says, Helen, I slept like a baby. I slept for the first time all night without tossing and turning. And he said, in fact, I got up this morning without having to stop and contemplate whether or not I can get out of the bed, pray, and Lord, help me to get myself together because of his back. He said, I got straight up this morning without any pain. Listen, that was enough to know that I made the right decision. And listen, David, you just taught me something. Because I'm a people person, I love it. I love it. I love connecting. I love sharing something good. When you find something good, you know what? Next to my salvation, this is real good because it's light. And let me just tell you this. How do I know this is the right place at the right time? Because guess what? I found out I was working in a law office some night in the late 90s. I've been there about 12 years, but my boss bought me a cup. The cup had my name and the meaning of my name. My name, Helen, means light. Oh my God, I found light on another arena. And guess what else? My husband found out he's working, it's dark. He said he spotted on our license plate. He looked at the license plate and took a picture of it. Guess what, David? The license plate had, at the last 3 digits was X39. Oh my God. Tell me this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to share the joy. I'm supposed to share the light. And this technology, this scientific discovery was waiting for me to get aboard. And for every person that I've shared it with, I believe without a shadow of doubt that they will expand. They too will learn to manage their time, but I know now how to go back in. They too will share the message that light therapy is what we need. And if you believe that you are the light of the world, then you better share your technology. You better help people to come aboard. I've got bishops. I got my 91-year-old father-in-law, a part of this business. He's sharing it with the bishops that is under his influence and parishioners. I've got my mom, 95 years old. My mom is an apostle. Been preaching since she was 38 years old. My mom is now no longer confined to a chair, a recliner chair. I started patching my mom, and oh my God, the stories are vast. My mom goes to church. Everybody is just unbelievably excited to see a motionless preacher who won't stop going to church at age 95 be able to get up and show by example what this technology is doing for her. Back in January, they sent her home, Dave, with a hospice nurse to go and care for her because she had pneumonia. But guess what? We're in the right place at the right time. And everything we're getting, learning and growing, and understand this, you would not be a part of this opportunity had it not been the right time for you to hear it. So I say to you, and I challenge you, tell everybody that's breathing, because they have stem cells, that they need this technology. They need to help people to come to the light. And wherever lightness is, there's a song that says, when I move my body, when I move my feet, when I open my mouth, darkness has to flee. So guess what? You have the opportunity to crusade with the light. God bless you. Thank you so much, Michael. I got a lot more I can say, but I'm going to stop right here. Thank you for this opportunity.
Wow. David, I'm fired up,
Mother
man.
Bear.
He fired me up today.
Mike, we
See?
just went to church.
Never heard
I'm
one.
telling you, we all need each other.
Yes.
Sister, you fired my wood up. Because sometimes it gets damp. You know, I get stinking thinking sometimes. But that was what I needed, Dave. Is that something, sister? Bring it again next week.
Yes.
Listen, you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. If God's anointed this, I don't want to preach, but if this is something that we need to share because it can help someone and we're going to pay you on top of it, reach out and pat someone today.
Yes.
Reach out. There's someone that needs this product, this opportunity, Dave. Dave, close it out. I'm losing my voice.
Oh man, I gotta pass this on to my sister. She's got the anointing on her. You close it out, sister. You got this room rocking. You go with that.
Well, I tell you one thing, I don't come to preach, but preachers can't help but preach. So guess what? We are all called to preach. So we've got to share this blessing with the world, okay? May not be your personality to be as excited and demonstrative as I am, but what is in you, God placed it in you. And for this time, it's here for you to take it to the world. Father God, I just thank you that you have allowed us, Father, to experience your great plan for our lives. We would not be a part of this time, this place, this space, had you not ordained it before we came forth from our mother's womb. And so, God, we thank you today. We don't take you for granted. We just say you have called us, you have chosen us, you have given us purpose, and that purpose will be revealed through us, for somebody else. And because of that, we thank you for the people that have been set in place, Father, to bring us to this opportunity, for their obedience, for their diligence, Father, and for their care and concern. We are here. We are a part of this technology. We are a part of taking the light. You called David forth, God, and you ordained him because you could trust him, God, to produce this. And so we thank you that you let us in on this, Father, for there's many things that we don't know about, but you have already set it in motion. And we thank you that we will take responsibility to give it the way you give it to us. We don't get credit, but to you be the glory. And I thank you. And I praise you, Father. We give you glory. We thank you for everyone that will be a consumer of this technology. We thank you that they will go forth and give their testimony, and others will give their testimony, and we will continue to bring people to the light. We are crusaders. We are crusaders for the light. Thank you, Father. Thank you for Lavelle and Majay. Thank you how they cared enough to continue, Father, for you gave it to them to have them reach out to me continually until I had the ear to hear. And so others will come, because we all need what you have given us. And we thank you. We thank you. We thank you, Father. We thank you for this opportunity. For we will go, we will grow, we'll expand, and we'll tell the world, because you're the light. We are in you. We're the light of the world. And we give you thanks. We give you praise. We give you glory in Jesus' name. Amen.
Wow.
Man.
Amen.
Let's end it there. Let's just say we believe, we have hope, we know where to go, we know what to do, we know who to call. It's in our spirit. Don't hesitate. No fear. Jason, thank you so